Hello, Paul Pluta channel. Remember, like, subscribe, tell your fuckhead friends. Look in the description for 10 ways you can keep me full-time on YouTube. Remember that, fuckers. Remember that. Man cannot live on Google Ads alone. This is a paid review for Simon. Here we go, fuckers. Hello, Arch. Love your channel and reviews. I always look forward to you. Like, subscribe, and tell your fuckhead friends at the start of every video. Classic. Keep up the good work and never do shit for free. I've sent you $25 US to your PayPal account for a quick review of my meager watch collection and some feedback on the next acquisition. My first watch is a Rolex 1002, 34mm, stainless steel with bracelet and a blue dial. I got this as a gift from my dad in 1984 and used it as a daily watch for 22 years. I chose it for its classic look, specifically no date, and its waterproof oyster case durability. It has been well cared for and serviced regularly. Even today, after 33 years, it runs perfectly and looks fantastic on my wrist. Needless to say, from time to time, as an engineering student and through the first phase of my career, my Rolex was all I needed. It addressed every type of activity, event, and my day-to-day living with perfection. I never looked at another watch. Shortly before getting married in 2006, my fiancé asked if I wanted a wedding band or if I would prefer a watch. Watch was an easy reply, and since I started considering a chronograph, she offered to get me a Daytona. Very nice. After some research, I became interested in IWC's Pilot's Chronograph 3706, 39mm with bracelet. In addition to thinking the Daytona was a bit heavy and somewhat outside my wife's price range, the IWC was more of the look and feel I desired. I know you have a bit of an issue with some IWCs, but the wife got a really good deal on it, which justified the choice somewhat. I found it to be more comfortable to wear than my Rolex, and since I utilize the chronograph functions regularly, I all but forgot about my Rolex for 11 years, only wearing it sparingly. Again, I never looked at another watch, nor did I regret passing on the Daytona. More on that later. Since watching your shows this past year, I have started alternating the Rolex and IWC every other day. In a sense, I've rediscovered my Rolex, while at times missing my IWC's functionality, and in turn looking forward to the next day's switchover. With all this rediscovery, as well as watching your show, I am thinking to add a third watch. We'll only consider pre-owned, as you constantly remind your viewers, and would appreciate your thoughts on the following short list. Number 1. Omega Speedmaster Professional Man on the fucking Moon. I tried one of these a few months ago. What a super nice watch, and nicer than I thought it would be. Pluses are, Omega is my dad's brand. It's a chronograph and I appreciate the functionality. It has historical significance, manual wind, great movement at the lower end of my budget. I can afford to get this year. Since I'm a sports watch type of person, strictly stainless steel, I would pretty much only consider the Man on the Moon as my Omega choice, as I do not like the look of the Omega dive watches. Any year would be okay. Very interesting. Yes. And let me just, before I go on there, I got to tell you, you've gone the IWC route, and I got to say, yes, indeed. I've gone the IWC route myself, and beautiful, big, hefty, gorgeous watch. I love it. Actually, I'll change watches now. I absolutely love my Rolex Explorer 2, but I gotta tell you, there's something about an IWC that just pops. It just pops. And I gotta tell you, that's a very nice concession you did there. That's an act of chivalry, where instead of getting the wife to get the Daytona, because they're fucking fucking expensive. That was a very nice thing to do. So well done. As a man, I salute you. I salute you. So that's my IWC. I really do love the IWC. So let's keep going here. This is interesting. Rolex number 2. So choice. So he's looking at. I love it. I love it. You got the 1002. That's a great. Love that Rolex. Love it to death. It's an Oyster Perpetual. Great piece. 34mm. A little bit small in a modern sense, but hey, it's got the history. It's got the thing. Love the story of the IWC Pilot's Chronograph. Fantastic. Beautiful story. Wife got it for you. What a sweetheart. The only fucking thing my wives have given me is a fucking alimony! Alimony fucking requests. Fucking hell. You've got the Omega Speedmaster Professional Man on the fucking Moon. Yeah, that is a cool watch. But the problem is, fuckers, we've already got a chronograph. We got a chronograph. So, you know, that's the only holdback. The Explorer, sorry, the Speedy is a great piece. Beautiful piece. Love it. Love it to death. Every American should have a Speedy. You know, that you should be so fucking proud. You fuckers went to the moon, or at least you fooled. If we didn't go to the moon, you fooled the rest of us fuckers around the world. Most people believe you did go if you didn't go. So, I mean, that's pretty good shit. I reckon Americans, you should be proud. You should embrace it. Every American should have a fucking Omega Speedmaster Man on the fucking moon. Okay. Number 2 choice is Rolex No Date Submariner or Sea Dweller. Yes. This is the watch I wanted many years ago, ever since seeing Bond movies. Yes. Perhaps either the Sub or the Sea Dweller. We're talking, I take it you're talking pre-ceramic. It's the 40mm. Sea Dweller are the ideal for me. I somewhat prefer the No Date for its simplicity and classic look, but would likely go for the Sea Dweller given a choice. I would prefer a pre-ceramic vintage from the 80s or 90s. The older, the better, actually. Aesthetically, condition, less of a concern, since I think 60s very worn versions out there on Chrono 24 look the best. Of course, a Rolex Dive edition will cost me a bit more than the Speedy, and I probably won't be able to get one for another year or two, but it would be well worth the wait. Yes, I got a good friend of mine, Clyde's just bought a No Date Sub, $4.5 US. Really good buy. And I don't know if you get them that cheap. $4.5 US. What would I say? See, I really think you've got the IWC Pilot as your chronograph, which is a great watch. You got the 1002 that was given to you by your dad. It's nice to then come back and say, hey, I've bought a Rolex for myself. So the No Date Sub, what you want is a 14060. And I've owned that a number of times. Fucking 2-line classic. It's a great piece. Absolutely love it. It is very, very cool. Exceptionally cool. Very cool. Very cool. Very, very cool. Your third choice, Rolex Daytona. Wow. In the early 70s, my second grade teacher had a 6263. Fuck! Probably late 60s vintage, white face, black bezel. He would sometimes let me use it for timing science experiments. What a guy. Let an 8-year-old kid use his Daytona. The 6263 or something similar vintage would be a dream watch. But back to reality. For me, the new ceramic with black face is a stunner. I would never pay retail or today's pre-owned prices and would want to wait for the pre-owned inventories to develop in the coming years to settle the supply and demand. But I would be ecstatic to get my hands on a 116500. The big issue with the Daytona is the $15,000 price tag, 15,000 plus price tag. I'm not certain I would ever be able to justify paying so much for a single timepiece, but then again, the investment factor could make it worth consideration if it's a possibility. So, Arch, what do you think of my collection? Am I heading in the right direction, or do I stay with just the 2 timepieces for now? Do I get the Speedy now or wait a year and get the no date vintage sub or Sea Dweller? A bit longer still for a 60s vintage no date sub, or do I save like mad and hope to be able to get the Daytona sometime before I retire? Your open, honest, fuckhead feedback, very much appreciated. Simon from San Diego, California. Yes, yes, Simon, thank you so much. Now, I love this collection. This is a moving, growing collection. This is a guy who has got a wife, he's got a job, he works hard, and I gotta tell you, watches are fucking deer. These are deer babies. And I gotta tell you, Simon, I really think myself, if I were you, I would be saying, okay, let's be completely honest there. You've got the IWC Pilot Chronograph. I again say the problem with the Daytona is they're lousy bang per buck. Your secondhand, you've already got a beautiful chronograph. Your wife gave that as a present. I reckon that's your chronograph. Okay? I'd try and cover my bases. You've got your growing up watch, which is your Rolex 1002. Okay? You got your present from the wife. Now you as a man need to, this third piece. So I would personally stay away from another chronograph. You've got the IWC. It's not going to add anything to the collection. It's going to detract from it. So my advice to you would be, I reckon the 14060 no date sub or a pre-ceramic Sea Dweller, absolutely perfect, because it gives us, we've got the beautiful 1002, that's your Rolex. You got your wife's IWC she gave you, and you got a dive Rolex. So I mean, what is the most iconic Rolex? Dive watches. They've always been the oyster cases. That's the whole genre with Rolex, is the dive capabilities. So I really think myself, my own opinion is, I would be saying dive Rolex. That's a cool way to go. Very, very cool way to go indeed. Dive Rolex. However, what about something else? Let me throw it into them. You know what I'm going to say? Polar, or a black dial 40mm Explorer 2. They are bang per buck on the used market. Let's face it. You want to try and have a diver, a chronograph, and you want to have a GMT function watch. And I reckon bang per buck, you can't beat the Explorer 2. Now, whether you go black dial or white dial, it's really your choice. But these can be had on the secondary market for $1,000 for a nice Explorer 2. Maybe go black dial. And see, the other thing is too, if you get an Explorer, not every man and his dog has one. They're kind of, you know, for the alumni. You know, they're for the real Rolex enthusiast. So an Explorer 2, black or white dial, doesn't matter. That could be a real cool watch to have. And it's a watch you've paid for as a man. Okay? It's a watch you've paid for as a man. And you've got a beautiful gift from the... I wouldn't get another chronograph. If the wife gave you an IWC chronograph... I mean, IWC is a great brand. I don't care what any of these fuckheads in the comments say there. They are a fucking great brand. You're a lucky man. I reckon maybe a black dial Explorer 2 for you. Pre-owned, 4,000 marks. So it's not much more than the Speedy, okay? And then later on, you could always get a no-date sub. That's what I'd be doing. Because You got to have fun in life. I mean, it is pretty fucking damn boring not to have some nice watches. But you're a responsible man. You are a serious man who's got serious commitments, and you have got to. I quite salute you. You've achieved a lot in your life, and I reckon it's time for you to make a statement. This is who I am as a man. I reckon get an Explorer 2. Black dial. I'm starting to fall in love with the black dial. I'll tell you the truth. I'm swinging. You know, I love the Polar, but I really like the black dial now. So I'd possibly say, hey, black dial, a little bit different. And that's also a waterproof Rolex too. You know, I make sure you check any diving work, even if you bought a sub, make sure you always check the seals before going in water, of course. Because water causes a lot of fucking bad damage. Believe you me, I can tell you that. So I really think myself that I love it. I love the collection. I love the way it's grown. I love the way how you've done things. And I think myself, this is really fucking cool. This is really cool collection. You put a lot of effort in. You've I love the story. The wife got you the IWC. Yeah, I'd be adding the GMT function watch, Polar, or a black dial Explorer 2, perfect. And then later on, retirement time, you could add a No Date sub or a Sea Dweller pre-ceramic Sea Dweller. They're a fucking gorgeous piece. So yeah, that's kind of how I'd map it out. That's very interesting story. I love hearing everyone's struggles, because I tell you the truth there. Sometimes on the channel we get so many people who I don't know what the fuck they do. They must sell cocaine or something. They have fucking all these fucking wonderful watches. You think, fuck me, Dad, what do these guys do? And you know, they're fucking expensive. Rolex watches, wristwatches, are dear. They're fucking dear. So, you know, I really respect someone who's someone who works for a living, got a wife, who's a happy life, and he's got the watches. You know, you just time and a place. And I think someone like yourself would enjoy them more than some arsehole who's got a black Amex who just buys whatever the fuck he wants. So, well done indeed. And yeah, I reckon an Explorer, get that. That'd be so cool, because it's your purchase as a man. As a man. You're going to put your mark there, you know. So that's what I'd do if I were you. It's like winging in the corner. You buy a new house. First thing you do is take a piss in the courtyard, so that, you know, you're marking your territory, fuckers. I reckon a Explorer 2. I don't know why, I'm just thinking black at the moment. Black dial could be the answer. Paul Pluta channel. Thank you so much, Simon. Simon, thank you so much. And tell me what you decide.
We specialize in the repair of Rolex and Patek Philippe watches. We've been doing the same thing for more than 25 years. We have Rolex technicians certified by Rolex who actually used to work for the company for many years, like if we're doing the work on the factory. We completely disassemble the watch and we put it to work like brand new condition. When you get a pre-owned watch, it's like if you're getting a brand new unit. The only difference is the money.